we're going to just give it to you in a real way. Like, here's what we're actually seeing. It might be contrarian at times. We might be wrong about some of our hot takes. It's going to be like real authentic conversations.
We're going to have a lot of really large PM group owners, 1,000 doors plus. We might have some really small PM owners, 200 to 500. I'm just excited, man. I really hope that people can listen to this and get a new perspective on property management.
We'll keep it unfiltered.
Welcome to Unfiltered, the official podcast of propertymanagement.com. I am your host, Dylan Scroggins, joined by the founder of propertymanagement.com, Mr. Matt Speer. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great. No complaints. How's it going, Dylan?
Awesome. Well, hey, appreciate you joining today because it's a little different. We don't have a guest today. This is more of a welcome episode to explain to people what you're up to at propertymanagement.com and also this new little podcast venture we got going. So appreciate you giving us a little bit of your Friday, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited to share a little bit about what we're working on and a lot of big things ahead.
Yeah, so we try to do our best to not talk about propertymanagement.com on every episode, but it's also in the title of our podcast. Well, let's just back up a little bit. The number one question we get when we're talking to people at conferences, when we're inviting people to the pod, when people are inviting themselves to the pod is, Matt, how did you get this domain?
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot, man. What is the story?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a stars aligning kind of moment. I've spent all of my career in, started as a real estate investor. Also had a sales kind of venture-backed job there a bit, but I considered right out of the gate, I'm a real estate investor. Kind of stumbled into property management, started taking property management really seriously. And, I've been in the industry since. And I've always thought, how are we in this industry built on credibility and reputation, but there's no trust layer? So I'd always had that in the back of my mind. And I met a guy in Indianapolis, a guy by the name of Chad. He was like a domain legend. Like this guy, you went to like a domain conference. This guy would be like, hey, I think that's, he's like a Hall of Famer kind of guy. Like all these crazy domains. He made a lot of money in that space. Well, he's from Indianapolis. I met him. We were talking property management because he owned propertymanagement.com. And so I knew that, 7 or 8 years ago, we'd been in touch, but I didn't talk to him for a while. I go to propertymanagement.com earlier this year, the beginning of 2025, sites crashed. I'm like, okay, that's weird. All right, go to the next day, still crashed. I don't know what compelled me, but I texted him, sent him a text, hey, what's going on with propertymanagement.com? His response back, we should talk. A couple weeks later, taking control of the domain, building this business on top of it. And I think it was just having that in my mind of like what the industry needed in terms of a trust layer, and then just having that like one-time single shot kind of opportunity. I just went for it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I remember we were at the Marriott in, where were we? Colorado Springs at Broker Owner 2024. No, Broker Owner 2025. And I remember you went to go get a coffee. And I was like, you didn't come back. And I went down to the lobby and I saw you. And it was like you saw a ghost, but like an awesome ghost. And I guess you were texting him. And I was like, dude, what's up? Well, first off, I was mad because I thought you were going to give me a coffee and you didn't come back. So we had to get past that. And then secondly, I was like, dude, what's up? And you like had to sit down and you were like, dude, I think I got propertymanagement.com.
Yeah.
And I was like, once again, I didn't have a coffee. So I was like, one, I don't care. Give me my coffee. But two, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And then I think my next words were, we should start a podcast. Something
yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, something like that. It had to be. The pod was right at the top of my mind.
Yeah, I think we had a conversation there too, Dylan. We're like, you can just do things,
You just do things.
People can just do things. Like, so here we are. We're just doing things.
Here we are. Man, I feel like I saw you like 5 minutes after you got maybe the let's talk text. So That was crazy, man. Because I remember we were very hush for the rest of Broker Owner. We were like, whoa, we're going to do something. We just don't know what it is. Let's just not talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And how it's played out too. I mean, people are going to see a lot of this out there in the industry. We're going to be a lot more prevalent, but, I think us getting lucky with the timing of it too, where, everybody's talking AI and buzzwords around AI, but, what I'm calling AI search, people using ChatGPT a lot more, finding property managers, my wife was tired of the place she was doing her nails and she's searching ChatGPT for like a better place, so things are changing and we've got this domain that has a lot of authority in this new AI search era. So anyway, I could be on my soapbox, but yeah, we've got exciting things ahead for us as a company.
Oh, definitely. Well, one thing I want to circle back on is that, we've said it a lot to guests and on sales calls is that propertymanagement.com is built by PM and not PE. So tell us, like, you are a property management owner, or I know maybe you've sold your portfolio. Catch us up on that. But like, you've been in the grind, like, you know what it's like. I don't know the exact door count. I think you had 400, 500 doors up in Indy, but tell us a little bit, not the full story of how you got into property management, but just tell us about like your own bumps and bruises in PM, and I don't know why people should listen to you about property management.
Yeah, I mean, I've been I started a property management company when I was 23. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't discover NARPM or any of the. I made a lot of mistakes there early, but I was solving my own problem. We had 30 properties that we had done a buy, rehab, rent, refinance cadence with, and so I was pitching investors to put money in and believe in me on that, and we had a lot of success with it. But then I was like, I'm a property manager now. I've got like the fun part's over, and now I've got to manage these properties. And through that experience, I sort of fell in love with really the systems and kind of the recurring revenue and the opportunity with the property management industry. And so, yeah, I mean, I've been a property manager. When we started Live Indy, we had 0 doors. We had a couple that we sort of transitioned in there pretty early, but we started from nothing. Didn't have a website, didn't have email set up. Like, I've seen that whole, ride from 0 to 50, 50 to 100. I mean, I think that 0 to 100 was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And so when people or property managers are talking about trying to grow their businesses, like, I've got those bumps and bruises. And one thing that I remember being really prevalent is like, we lose a door. And we lose a door to a company because, you have to like hand it off. You got to be professional. You're like teeing up the next company. It's always that weird email exchange. But we lose a door to a company that I know we're better than. And I'm like, this is, how did they convince this person to switch to them? And, those types of issues and those types of problems kind of stack up. And I'm like, lead gen, for example. You're running this business, it's chaos. All these systems, operations, people, it's a tough business. And then you got to figure out lead gen, but you don't have budget to have like a marketing director in most cases. And so you kind of just end up pay to play, a lot of using these services that like don't really move the needle. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we're doing with propertymanager.com is solving a lot of those problems I had as a property manager. So yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to share some of those things with the industry. I think you say, Dylan, like, rising tide lifts all boats. It's like what we're doing in a lot of ways, I think is gonna help everybody in the space, especially the good property managers that, really have a high standard and try to do things the right way.
Yeah, love it. Well, I want to give you a chance because once again, we don't talk about propertymanager.com actually on the podcast. So tell us, what is it and what is it not?
It's not a lead generation service. It's not.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
only laughing because like yeah, man, I feel like you get that question all the time.
Yeah, it's not a lead generation service. I think, there's companies out there where it's like, okay, so hey, propertymanager.com, I get leads from here, right? We always say, hey, credibility is our currency. Leads are the outcome. So it's like you're building a house, you gotta have a really strong foundation. Otherwise you're going to, build a house of cards. I feel like a lot of companies go look for that silver bullet, but oftentimes that's, pay to play lead services. They're just trying to figure out some sort of like immediate solution to their growth problem. But if you take a look and kind of step back, if you actually focus on your credibility, your reputation, and you can have a way to actually stand out from that competition. So like that door I'm talking about where, I remember, I won't say the company, but like this company's taking one of Live Indy's doors, my property management company. I'm like, we're better than them. Like their reputation's not that good. I didn't have a way to prove that. And if I did, today I'd pull up propertymanagement.com, pull up the company profile, and I'd be like, hey, we're verified on propertymanagement.com. This is real operational performance data. We're the best option for you, and you should really consider switching to this other manager. Would we have still lost the door? Maybe. Would, we'd take that same at bat 10 times? I bet we'd keep 4 or 5 of those doors. And so, yeah, we're not a lead generation service. We're really a new category. We're trying to create this new category, this trust and credibility category. And honestly, it's a harder path. Like, it would be easier for us to go the path of propertymanagement.com would sell leads. We'd make way more money. It'd be way easier, but it's not what the industry needs. We're trying to do it the right way and trying to do something that's going to be around 10 years from now, still providing value.
Yeah,
You
no,
get
I
me on my
love it.
soapbox. You get me.
No, it's
Get me
good.
fired up.
We'll get you fully on a shorter soapbox just for this episode. We'll give you you can be a repeat guest. I'll allow it. Because the thing that you said a lot that really resonates with me as someone who does not own a property management company is being the Carfax of property management. Because you don't have to know a lot about cars to get a ton of value out of Carfax. And, 10, 15 years ago, you see the Fox on the commercial and it's like, oh, what's this silly thing? Well, now it's like, they just give you the Carfax before you even ask because they know you're going to ask or look it up yourself. So it's interesting as what was at first kind of a luxury or just kind of a random like ask every now and then is now just a standard. So I'm really excited for you, man, as a friend and as a partner in the business of could propertymanagement.com become the standard and not just something that high performing PM groups use.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's also going to be something to where I don't care if you're 50 doors or 5,000 doors, you've got this opportunity to be on our site, get a free profile, free benefits. You can even get leads free. You're going to show up more in AI search plot. You're going to get so many benefits on our free tier, and that's never going to change. And so I think that if you're a property manager a year from now, you're not on propertymanagement.com, I think that, it's going to be something where you're wish you got on sooner and you're going to see your competition really standing out. So yeah, it'll be cool to see kind of how things play out. But yeah, I'm really excited about the future.
Well, there's lots to be excited about, both for the business, but also the industry as a whole. Well, man, let's wrap up. Let's talk a little bit about this pod. It was kind of an original part of the plan to really serve the market. I appreciate you letting me be a part of it, man. It's been a great time, but tell us your vision for the pod and I might share a few things too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of property management podcasts out there. We're unfiltered because I think that our perspective, especially me, I'm kind of the hot take. You definitely tamper me down a little bit on most episodes. We're going to just give it to you in a real way. Like, here's what we're actually seeing. It might be contrarian at times. We might be wrong about some of our hot takes, but we're going to it's not just going to be a pay to play sponsorship. Hey, here's the new vendor that's in the space. It's going to be like real authentic conversations. Later in the year, we're going to be rolling out the propertymanager.com's top 100. So the top 100 property managers in the nation. And that's going to be something we do every year. And so imagining being able to have someone on the podcast where it's like, hey, we've got, Joe Schmo. He's the leader of the number 7 property management company in the nation. Here's what he's doing, or here's what she's doing. Like, that's going to be really, really powerful content. That's not just, who are the biggest voices and, who's doing all the speaking engagements in the NARPM scene. A lot of those people are great. We're going to have them on too. We're also going to hear from some of these other folks that maybe you don't hear from as often.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And I think, I've got a unique angle in that I've kind of got one foot in and one foot out of property management. I don't own a property management business. I do a ton of recruiting. Just a kind of quick background of how we even met. We met through Twitter, where I don't even know who started the convo, but you needed a need for a hire. This was last year, man. A lot can change. So we did a search together. That was awesome. I did a search for Live Indy too. And then we stayed in touch, became friends. And then, I guess was that 8 months later, we started talking about PM.com. But on the recruiting side, there's a lot of innovation in this space. There's a lot of AI, global talent. There's a lot of opportunity in this space. I mean, there's people that can make some good money. And I'm not talking about just the owners. I'm talking about the director, VP level, et cetera. So it seems like there's a uplift of professionalization of this industry. And we're seeing a lot in other home services, pest control, HVAC, et cetera. But the difference with property management is that it's not torpedoed by private equity. A lot of what you're seeing in these other industries are PE-backed initiatives. These are more owner-backed mentality shifts. I think that's the interesting thing about property management right now. Yes, there's plenty of private equity and, it all depends on whether that's a good decision for those individual people, right? We're not here to comment on that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there's definitely an uplift of professionalism, in my opinion, in the softwares and the tools and the softwares, the systems, the people the resources in property management. It's just a really cool time to be a part of it. For me on the recruiting side and hosting this podcast, and also the little bit I get to stay involved with PM.com as a whole, it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, and plus I can razz you a little bit about Alabama football, and you can see this big run Indiana's going to have this year. Make the playoff 2 straight years. We can talk about that a little bit along the way as well.
Well, we don't play anybody till Thanksgiving. It's pretty easy to make the playoff. Well, cool, man. No, I'm excited. And I think too with our guests, like we're gonna have a lot of, you know, really large PM group owners, 1,000 doors plus. We might have some really small PM owners, 200 to 500. We've already had and will have a lot of vendors and partners in this space because they're behind the scenes, having the closed door discussions with folks, and they're doing 10 a day. They're not just running one business. They're talking to 10 business owners in a week. So I'm just excited, man. I really hope that people can listen to this and get a new perspective on property management. I also they can listen to it and really just get a lot of value if they are a PM owner or a vendor in the space. But also, I hope it's just fun, entertaining, light, intentional, all those things.
We'll keep it unfiltered.
Always. All right, Matt. Well, thanks for joining for this little pop-up episode, and look forward to this run we got going, man.
Love it. Awesome. Looking forward to it, Dylan.
All right. Roll Tide.